Gaining control. Your nice guy triangle is severely destroying your marriage. It's building the wall. You don't realize it, but you are building the wall. Now, I realize that your wife might have a nice girl. I realize that there are times in your life where this could be both codependent, and that's typically what we do. Pretty much everybody picks somebody that supports their bad habits and skills. But we're going to break away from that. Now that you know how to be a man in power and a man with impact, what we need to make sure is that we gain control, because without being a man in control, you will go back to losing your man with impact. You will absolutely go back to losing your power. And it does not have to be as toxic as I was. It does not have to be as abusive as I was. It can be all of your version of safe reactions that will destroy. So let's walk through the nice guy triangle, and you need to start digging deep. You need to start owning and understanding this, because in order to be the confident man that your wife can be a partner with, you have to be equals. And we can't do that if we're not, remember our core values, living to them, living like a window, right? I am a diamond. Look at yourself. Be transparent through that glass so that when she sees you, you are following through, making decisions, being an integral man based off of the choices that you make, because you learn to self-love, get approval, validation for yourself from yourself, okay? And then we can present every decision that we make to our wife as a confident man that we truly believe in. Now, some of you have been beaten down by your wife, and some of you have been beaten down your whole life. Others, you've got tremendous amount of confidence in the world, in your life, but you don't bring it home. No matter what, we're all in this triangle when we don't have the intimacy. If your wife doesn't want you, you can't help but feel less manly. The confidence is stripped away. It erodes over time. So let's break through this. We need to learn how to look in the mirror, dig deep. We need to click and realize, oh crap, I'm keeping myself in this triangle. I'm keeping my wife and I in this triangle, the roller coaster where it's never getting any better. Maybe better for a little while, and then it goes backwards in time. And I'm going to have to make a new plan, move forward in a different way. So let's dig into it. Now, the nice guy triangle is really just the victim triangle. I did not make up the victim triangle, but I'm applying it as the nice guy, because once you get it, you will click and you will want the new way. All right, you'll notice man without control is at the top right. And that's simple because it doesn't matter if you go left either way across the triangle at the top or down towards the bottom. Doesn't matter. You're going backwards. Think about it. That's going backwards. So I want you to understand that we can't go backwards. If we lose our control, we become a man without impact and a man without power. Okay? Now, in a man without control, so you've lost control, you are no longer a great guy, the great guy that you think. And the reason is simple. You're trying to fix or rescue your wife, the marriage. So you don't actually value your wife. You don't appreciate what she can do to help herself. And so you try to do everything from society's solutions. You're self-sacrificing, which I'll show you that you're not. You try to be super available, and you love being needed. That's why. But you're smothering your wife. Essentially, you're walking on eggshells. You're not confident. You don't believe in yourself. And you're trying to do everything so that if she just sees you and just notices you and reciprocates whatever it is you're looking for, from an I love you, or maybe that's, I'm going to give you a massage, an act of service, so that I can have something in return. What would that normally be? Sex. Okay, it doesn't matter what we're talking about. We create these things called covert contracts. And when we do that, it's a give to get. And so now she's walking on eggshells. The other problem is you're forcing your wife up on that pedestal. This is the section where you do that, okay? Where you put her on the pedestal, she has to look down on you. And if she has to look down on you, you can never, ever be partners. So we do things like look for approval so that we can feel good about ourselves. And when you go through the homework on approval and improving for you, you're going to start to realize, well, if I'm improving for her, not for me, well, that doesn't make her feel special. That makes her feel like you just want something in return. But when you show up improving for you, because you don't need your wife's approval or validation, you're just going to be integral when you make decisions and follow through with the plan and the structure, the direction that you're trying to enforce or provide in your home, in your marriage, then your wife can start to feel like an equal, i.e., we can become a partner. Now, in this state, we also hide and filter who we are. We suppress the true man that we are. A lot of you won't even make jokes the way you want to because what if she doesn't laugh, right? We can't do that. We can't stop our man side that wants to go initiate sex or go for a kiss. Ask for a date. Let's do it, babe. If we're hiding who we are because we're afraid of rejection, this is where it becomes so important to be a man in control. Now, another massive problem is expectations. We start to develop expectations because we want something in return. Go back to society's solutions. Well, I did more because I wanted my wife to want me, right? I had the talk with my wife because I wanted her to say, yes, I do want to have sex with you. Yes, I do want more intimacy. Yes, I do want to fix the marriage. And all that we do is put the guilt back on our wife. And so this is where expectations start to smother your wife. As she starts to feel like, well, I can't meet his expectations. I don't want to have sex right now. So no, I don't want the rub. I'm not going to return his text message because if I do, then that means we're going to have a conversation later. And if we do that, that means we're going to have to cuddle or kiss. And if we do that, that means we're going to have sex. And I don't want any of that. And so we've got to lose the expectations. And later we'll find out how that turns into entitlement. The last thing is, this is where keeping score becomes a massive, massive problem. When you are keeping score because of all these wonderful things you do, that's why you say, I'm a great guy, you should want me. So we're going to have to start dropping away from keeping score because this is where it happens. This is why you give to get and then don't actually get anywhere in the marriage or with your wife. A man without impact, oh man, I mean, this is when you're not such a great guy because you don't value your wife's views, her opinions, her feelings. You become a persecutor. Now, that's because you're angry, aggressive, judgmental, bullying, demanding, you're spiteful and vindictive. You start to become like, well, wait a minute. As a man without control, you start to really go, well, this isn't fair. And remember, I don't care what's fair, I care what works. And if you start to realize as a man with control, if you're self-love, self-validating, and you don't need to prove you're a great guy, then we can't lose our impact. We can focus on stat responses until our wife can learn to break away from safe reactions. But as a man without impact, if we start to lose that, and we have no impact, i.e. safe reactions, based on just even the mumbling comments under your breath. That's the passive aggressiveness, right? Just the poutiness that we've had when our wife didn't want us or when it was awkward during a conversation while we're trying to rebuild the intimate, just hanging out time, right? Well, a man without impact is going to push his wife away. We learned that already, right? Now, you are looking for approval here, but here you're doing it differently. Here you're validating to yourself approval in the wrong way. You're going, this is where it starts, where she should be wanting me. She should be saying I love you like she means it. Because here you're trying to prove to yourself that you're the great guy. When we go to hiding who we truly are, I think this is really important in this section. When we lose our impact, we're no longer the man that we're proud of. We're not. We should be looking in the mirror. We should be clicking and saying, I want to do something different. That way didn't work for years. Why would I want to do that now? I need to be myself. And the new me is a man with impact, not a man without impact. The expectations start to grow and fester into entitlement here, right? This is where you start to go, hey, like, come on, I've been giving, I'm trying to fix the whole marriage here. I'm doing this on my own. And you're starting to really push the guilt. And we're starting to lay the foundation for where our expectations are turning into an entitlement to us because we think we are proving to ourselves we're this great guy. This is where scorekeeping becomes even worse, right? When you are constantly keeping score about all those wonderful things as a man without control, now we're starting to dangerously keep score to where we're proving so heavily that we are this great guy that we're going to start to go down a really destructive path. A man without power is simple. It's the mode where you are this great guy and you don't actually value yourself anymore. Why? You project onto your wife. You blame push, you shame dump, you guilt throw. This is where you become manipulative, whether you're passive aggressive and shutting down, whether you're distancing yourself from responsibilities. It's where you start to really throw out all the whining, the frustration, the anger because woe is me, I'm helpless, and I'm desperate and needy is what you're trying to prove to your wife. You did that already, looking for approval as a man without control. But you definitely prove that you are so needy, you can't survive without her, and she must understand this because these are all the things that you're doing wrong, honey, and I'm so great. It's where you prove that you are not a man in power, and without that, we have no foundation for anything. And so we've started to go severely backwards in time. Now, are we hiding and filtering who we truly are? Well, you should be, that's for sure. Is a helpless victim getting anything? If you applied this to business, are you going to get anywhere if you're like, oh man, yeah, Facebook ads just don't work? No, that means that you haven't found a better way or a way to monetize properly with ads from copy or from cost analyzing data like cost per click, whatever. And it's the same thing in your marriage. It does not take two to tango. It takes one to lead. That's it. And then when you become partners, which is why this section is in the partnership pillar, then we can start to move forward in a moving direction that is the direction you want to go. Here's where your expectations are well beyond and they are so far into entitlement that all you do is make your wife feel like, I can never meet this guy's needs. And some of you have heard that before. You might as well just divorce me. Find a new wife because I can't meet your needs. I just can't do it. Catherine told me that 1,000 times. You're going to have to understand the expectations that we need to gain control of here. Well, they're only killing your wife's intimacy, the safety, the peace pillar, i.e., we are never going to do anything but kill and destroy her libido. Okay? Here's where you use keeping score in the worst possible way because you've kept score for so long. Now we are telling her everything. And we use that to manipulate her. We use that to say she's doing things wrong so that she'll want to do the right thing, i.e. fix herself. Well, that's not going to happen. If we do that, then all that's going to happen is it's going to be a temporary change. And then what happens is, okay, all of a sudden it's worse than it was before, or it's now at least gone back to where it was the last time. Typically, though, it's worse. The roller coaster dip is a lot lower. Most of you should be able to resonate with that. And then you go back to being a man without control. Gotta fix the world, gotta save the marriage. I'm so sorry, baby. I love you so much. And here, let me fix everything. Let me come rescue you. Typically, we keep ourselves in this triangle over and over and over again. And hopefully, as you're working through the reset, you're starting to see that these patterns, this pattern that you've created as your nice guy, can actually turn into the toxic, the alpha male, manipulative, controlling, all the things that don't work for a long-term sustainable marriage. So whether or not you have this problem in life, you definitely have this problem at home, and we need to gain control here of our nice guy. So how do we do that? Well, we're going to look in the mirror, we're going to click, and we're going to use the new way, the reset, and become not just a man, but a marriage lord. So the next videos that you're going to walk through are going to take you through approval, expectations, hiding, and keeping score. Very important that you dig extremely deeply here. What do I really do, hoping for something in return, for my wife to notice me, to give me a reward, to say thank you, I love you, whatever. It's all called a covert contract. I want you to dig through. I want you to dig deep with expectations. Why do you expect things in return? Remember what we talked about earlier? You don't give to get. The world is abundant, and if you give, you get. But we don't have to try to manipulate what we're trying to receive in return. Okay? Hiding and filtering yourself. If you can't be you, this will never work. It will be fast for some of you. It will be slow for others. You will need to use marriage lords. If you have a hard time owning the man that you are, your core values, making decisions based off that, and it's very difficult to undo it in your brain when you're trying to move forward, you're going to follow the structure of the reset. But I want it to be naturally who you are, because otherwise it's not believable. You are not improving for you. And again, that's not attractive for your wife, any woman, any person, really, right? People want to be in your presence because they just think you're amazing, because they feel your energy. That's why it's part of the yes tone. And then, of course, we have keeping score. Well, you're going to do a little bit of work on that. But remember, don't forget, Man with Impact, we covered gratitude. We covered the lovers list. This is a massive way to move into being a man in control. And it's why we started it with Man with Impact. You can start to revisit that list if you have not been continuing to do so. Build that list. Keep score of the good stuff. Start adding things, but when she does things right, focus on those things. When she reciprocates in a loving way, just because you showed up. because you love her, not because you were looking for her to give you something back in return. Get through the homework. There's a lot of questions, there's a lot of analyzing. I just want you to focus on digging deep and being true so that we can actually click.